Okay, good day everyone. I am Fatai Elaide Rufai, a PhD candidate at the Osiri University, Nebraska, United States of America. So I'm here to do my presentation on my thesis proposal drafting. So the topic of my proposal is going to be the effects of tax policies on the profitability and compliance behavior of small and medium enterprises in Lagos State, Nigeria. So I've made Lagos State, Nigeria as a case study because I just need to focus what I need to do my research basis on. So firstly, I will need to look at the abstracts. So on the abstract part, my studies is going to investigate how tax policies influences the profitability and tax compliance behavior of SMEs in Lagos State. Despite the role of SMEs in job creation and economic growth in Lagos State. So basically, SMEs report low profitability and varying levels of tax compliances. So using a mixed method approach. So this study will collect qualitative data from about 400 SMEs. So I'm going to take the data in different local governments in Lagos State, talking of Agege, Ikeja, Alimosho, Shomolu, Lagos Island, Ojo, and the likes like that, so that I will make sure that I have a standard thesis writing. So then commercial ops in Lagos State and taking a qualitative data, so with interviews, selecting some business owners, then tax official and the tax consultants. So in order to get a reliable information. So then I will also look at the parts that the study will also look at the contributions to policy debates. So we are going to look at that. Then designing SMEs friendly taxation regimes that balance revenue needs and the sustainability of Lagos business. Then what makes this topic unique is that by 2026, federal government is coming with a new tax policies, which most of the SMEs are even scared of what to pay. But with this, my research work, so I will be able to explain and to give a further and a wider knowledge of what tax is and the understanding basis for all these SMEs, because most of these SMEs, some of them could not even comprehend what exactly the tax is going to do. So I'm going to explain the best thing and the best method for them to pay their taxes. So I'm going to explain that properly so that they will get it clear very well. So that's another thing. Then part of my introduction, I'm going to see how SMEs are critical drivers of employment and economic diversification in Nigeria, because creating employment opportunity, SMEs have played a crucial and a pivotal roles to make sure that there's a reduction in unemployment in Nigeria. Basically, where my research focus, Lagos State precisely. That's why in Lagos, you don't really see people who will say that they are unemployed. Yes, there's a statistics for that. So when you go to Nigeria Bureau of Statistics, you see Lagos State doesn't have a number of unemployment. Most people engage, in fact, a lot of people engage in SMEs, which creates more avenue for people to work. So I'm going to base on that. Then the tax policies, I'm going to explain how the tax system is not a burden for them. I'm going to explain it so that everybody will comprehend the benefits and the likes like that. Then part of the problem, the problem statement is that Lagos State and federal government has introduced tax measures aimed at expanding tax base and improving revenue collections. I could remember that currently the chairman fiscal policy on tax, Dr. Professor Taiwo, he has said in that the tax, it will never be a burden for everybody, but it's just that we need to understand the tax process so that we could know what to pay. And then most of all the revenue from the tax, it will be able to enhance whatever the government is trying to do. So that's another thing that we need to understand. And also, SME profitability and the likelihood of compliance is another thing I will need to explain properly. And then the knowledge gap in that hinders from design of tax policies that simultaneously improve state revenue and sustain SME growth. That is another one, because with those taxes, government will be able to do a lot of things. So I'm going to have the research objective, which is to assess the effect of Lagos State tax policies on the profitability and compliance behavior of the SMEs. Then two, to examine how complexity and the transparency of tax procedure influences the SME compliance behavior. And mostly, I'm going to emphasize on to develop the policy recommendation to enhance tax compliance with protecting SMEs profitability, which is another key thing that we need to understand. Then most of my research question will focus on one, the relationship between passive tax burden and profitability among SMEs in Lagos. Because you see, when we get it right, understand what the tax policies is, most of people, most of individuals, entrepreneurs who run SMEs, it is a great privilege for them to see how the tax will never be a burden to them. Yes, that is it, which by understanding. Then another thing is that to see how does the tax complexity affect the compliance behavior of the what of the SMEs, then the effect enforcement mechanism on the voluntary tax compliance, those that are complying. So we're going to look at that. Then we check about the hypotheses, then the significance of the study, which to make sure that policymakers, evidence for Lagos State Tax Authority in which aspect of tax policies reduce SMS profitability or undermine compliance, enabling more of the targeted reforms. So that is it. We all know at the federal level, the arms in charge of tax at the federal level is the FRRS, Federal Inland Revenue Service, while in Lagos State we have the LIRS, Lagos Inland Revenue Services. So we're going to make sure that we try as much as possible to then all this we look at the literature review, whereas the research in developing economies consistently link tax burdens and the compliance costs to reduce SME profitability. So we're going to look at that aspect of as well. Then the theoretical framework, which is also very important. Then we look at a well comprehensive and tailored methodology that we need to use. So we will need to look at that comprehensively. Then another thing is that we will also look at the different research methodology that we need to look, then the study area where we need to focus on. So we will need to look at that. Then the population. Looking at the population, we look at the SMEs operating in Lagos State. That will be our population, which include formally registered business. So we will need to look at the registered business from the Corporate Affairs Commission, and also look at those that have their TIN, tax identification numbers, because a tax identification number will assist to see maybe they are really paying the tax or not. Then we look at the the sample size. We will target about let's say 350 to 400 SMEs in Lagos. So we're going to look at that, and then looking at most of the sample techniques that we're going to use. We need to take an approach and look at most things that we need to look there. Then we need to carry out a qualitative sample, looking at SMS owner, looking at tax consultants. Then we need to carry out some other data from LRS and the FRS as well, which is very, very important. Then we will need to look at most of the methods that will be very important for us during our research work. So we need to look at this. Then looking at how to collect, the method of collecting data, how to collect it, which of it we need to use, and the likes like that. Then also getting the facts information from most of our people. Then finally, we'll need to look at most of the timeline. What is the timeline that the research is going to take us? Then in most cases, I've decided that it's going to take maybe around 12 months or less. So all depends on the way the case may be. So it all depends like that. Then the estimated cost. So the research in total is going to cost nothing less than around maybe 1 million 485,000 estimates. So it could be more on the, or it could be less. Then we look at the sample question we're going to use and the way to dispatch most of this, then designing a kind of a data management plan. So we need to look at this thing very well, and then look at some other things, and taking a reference. So we go to academic journal, articles. We read a lot of articles on the tax and SMEs, looking at Nigeria tax code and conduct and the Lagos State tax code and conduct. Then a report as well from maybe international organization like that. So we're going to look at all this properly. So that is what we'll focus on. So thank you very much, and I will expect your critiques on my topic, the effect of tax policies on the profitability and compliance behavior of small and medium enterprises in Lagos State, Nigeria. So thank you very much. My name is Fatai Laidorufa, a PhD candidate of Osiri University, Nebraska, United States of America. Thank you very much. Thank you.